Welcome to GeoPax 2019. Second room down the stairs. Please, if you don't have a chair, go to the second room down the stairs. Thank you.
Buenos días a todos. Para los que no tengáis espacio, lo digo en español y en inglés por si acaso todavía no todo el mundo lo ha entendido. Abajo se está retransmitiendo en streaming. Tenemos una sala de cine preparada para la retransmisión en streaming. Así que si queréis estar cómodo y confortable, abajo hay espacio. So, good morning, everybody. I remember that there are streaming downstairs in the cinema. So if you don't have seat, please go to the cinema and enjoy the same event, but by streaming. So, buenos días a todos y bienvenidos al 15º Congreso Europeo de Geoparques. Good morning to all and welcome to the 15th European Geopark Congress. It's my honor to be the conductor of this event that is being held in Andalucía for first time. The theme chosen for this conference is Geopark, Memory of the Earth, Future for People, focus on the territorial development of protected natural areas. In fact, Andalucía is the region that hosts the most quantity geopark in the world. There are 3 that you know: Sierra Norte de Sevilla, Sierra Subbética, and Cabo de Gata Níjar. Andalucía has an exceptional natural heritage. My name is José Pablo García. I'm a travel journalist and passionate of nature. Andalucía also is rich in history and culture, and that is, I would like to make a special mention to the place where we are meeting today, the headquarters of Three Culture Foundation, la Fundación Tres Culturas. Muchas gracias por acogernos hoy a la Fundación Tres Culturas en este lugar tan maravilloso que aúna historia y cultura aquí en Sevilla, aquí en Andalucía. We will continue with the institutional event and will present and give away to the personality that they are today with us. We say welcome first to Mr. Charalampos Fasulas, EGN coordinator, as well known as Babis. So you are the first today.
Thank you. Dear Regional Minister of Andalusia, dear Chief of the UNESCO IGGP program, distinctive guests, dear attendances. We are concentrated all together in this marvelous venue in Sevilla for the 15th European Geoparks Conference that is organized by the Sierra Norte de Sevilla UNESCO Global Geopark. In the name of all European geoparks, I want cordially to thank the Sierra Norte de Sevilla Geopark, its staff, the organizing and scientific committees of the 15th EGN Congress for the organization and hosting this event. "19 years have already passed since the Maestrago meeting here in Spain in 2000, where 4 rural territories created the European Geoparks Network, which nowadays counts 73 members from 24 European countries. We are all proud of this achievement. This was possible because geoparks focused on the local people and their needs, bringing them on the stage. The geoparks help them to understand and appreciate the value of their natural and cultural heritage, and how the geodiversity of our territories, where we are standing on, cultivate our food, rise up our livestock, build our houses, and create our civilizations, is connecting nature, humans, and culture together. And it is the reason for the existence of all of them. European geoparks didn't discover the wheel. They just proposed a new alternative conservation and exploitation of their heritage for true rural sustainable development. We succeeded because we operate like a team. Each of us with its capacities, skills, values, and differences. We are working together, learning together, developing together, and changing together, being a real network. All this happen in such meetings, like this one, because these meetings, the EGM, CC meeting and congresses are our stadium, where as a team we present our achievements, initiatives and progress, where we discuss, think, cooperate and develop new ideas and projects, where we learn also from the others. During these 19 years, 44 coordination committee meetings and 14 congresses were organized. Our achievements and activities, which were since the beginning developed in close collaboration with UNESCO and the other continental networks, persuaded the UNESCO member states in 2015 that together we can do more for the whole globe. And the new IGGP program was born, which established the UNESCO Global Geoparks. We all know very well that no perfect geopark exists. We are all very good geoparks trying continuously to become better for the benefit of our communities and our guests. It was the reason that since the beginning we established strict evaluation procedures for our activities, and we keep improving them under the guidelines of UNESCO. I can assure you that all of us are working very hard to offer to our communities the opportunity to live with dignity and safety at their birthplaces and make them proud for their heritage and individuality. We are thus inviting you to learn about the achievements in conservation, education, communication, research, geotourism, sustainable development, and citizens' resilience, not only of the 73 European geoparks, but also of many others existing or are under development and many individuals around the globe. We are inviting you to enjoy the 15th European Geoparks Congress. Thank you for being here.
Thank you to Mr. Charalampo. Thank you, Babis, if you, for your words. And now is the time of Mr. Christoph van der Bergen, Chief of UNESCO Science and Geoparks. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Señora Consejera, Junta de Andalucía, Dear Excellencies, dear EGM Coordinator, Babis, dear friends of the European Geoparks community. It's my great pleasure and honor to welcome you here this morning on behalf of UNESCO to this 15th European Geoparks Conference. It's in particular a pleasure to welcome you here in Andalucía, home to one of the most iconic geoparks on the planet, I would say. And the successful organization of this conference is testimony to the commitment of the Junta de Andalucía and the local communities. And I would like to thank you as well, the tremendous effort that you've put into this. We really appreciate this very much. To support the concept of global geoparks in Europe and in the world, because I see many people here from other areas, from other regions, and I think this is very much appreciated as well. It's important to remember here that UNESCO is run by its governing bodies, and that's its 191 member states. They are the ones who set out our strategy, who set out the program, and who also decide on the budget. And to a large extent, we are in their hands. So since the UNESCO Global Geoparks were formally adopted by the General Conference of UNESCO in 2015 now, the program has received an increasing support, a high visibility and a growing interest, including in those parts of the planet where the concept is less known. Member states truly start to understand the full potential of geoparks, and this is an important momentum, I believe. I have personally been very deeply impressed by the commitment of both governments and civil society to the geopark concept and to UNESCO Global Geoparks in particular. And all sides respond to a certain extent to a common set of guidelines and criteria, but there remains a large degree of freedom and flexibility to shape your own geopark, to build your own pathway. And there's a lot of flexibility to serve your local communities in the local context. Now, this has led to a large variety of geoparks, but all are recognized at the highest levels of government as vehicles through which we promote and support sustainable local development and ensure the protection of our unique geological heritage. And we may sometimes be overwhelmed by the complexity of the global problems, the global challenges that we're confronted with, from environmental pollution over biodiversity loss, all the way to climate change. And I believe that geoparks offer a model there. They offer a response to each and every one of those challenges in a very holistic manner. And I think for that reason as well, UNESCO has taken a very great interest in the concept. You demonstrate how the Sustainable Development Goals, the Paris Climate Agreement, the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction can be brought into practice. You offer an alternative for sustainable development built around the geological, the cultural, and the natural diversity of our planet, in respect with the biodiversity and the cultural heritage, involving schools, local communities. And you showed it is not only possible, but it's also viable and an attractive alternative. And in that sense, you're a beacon of hope to many and an example for us. So I'm also deeply impressed by the strong sense of solidarity between geoparks, where good examples are exchanged and where the doors are always open for those who wish to learn from it. And let me maybe inform you here that we've recently set up a mentorship program, and many of you have responded to the call to open your doors. And I think there's now 11 UNESCO Global Geoparks that will be receiving trainees, 17 of them, and to teach them the skills, to teach them actually how to meet these quality standards. They're going to be running with them, working with them for over 2 weeks, helping them to complete their files. And I think that's the kind of exchange, that's the kind of commitment that you hardly see in other programs, and that's truly unique. And I think many of those geoparks that responded to the call are in Europe here, so this is very much appreciated. And it's also, of course, thanks to the help of the GGN, of the Global Geoparks Network. But that, I believe, shows what a large family you are. You inspire each other, you share information, you share good practices, and you help each other if needed across borders. And that, I believe, is the true spirit of the United Nations. That's how we like to see it as well at UNESCO. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is truly unique. Now, the theme of this conference, Geoparks, Earth Memory, People Future, captures the essence very eloquently. Geoparks eventually are all about people. And there are other site designations at UNESCO, but I believe that none show the strength and the solidarity and the resilience that we find in the Geoparks network, and this is something that we value very highly. Maybe I can tell you here as well that we've had an information meeting for our member states, for our ambassadors at UNESCO, and that was the first time ever that we've had an opportunity to interact with them. And we've been able to highlight the strengths of the geoparks and what it can offer them. And we felt a very, very strong support, a very strong drive as well from their side to expand actually the family, and a very constructive attitude to uphold the high quality of UNESCO Global Geoparks. And UNESCO is delighted with that support, with that interest, and we're committed to providing its full support to this momentum, together with the Global Geoparks Network and its regional chapters, together with the entire Geoparks community, with our donors and with our partners. To emphasize maybe the uniqueness of the Geoparks, it's important to remind us that this is entirely driven by experts. So for several of the programs run by UNESCO, the member states are directly in charge. They are the ones who take the final decisions. It's ambassadors, it's ministers. This is the case for the World Heritage Program. It is the case for the Man in the Biosphere Program. It is not the case for the International Geoscience and Geoparks Program, of which you are part. I think their member states have set out the rules of the game, but eventually the decisions and the daily activities are run by experts, and it's your view that prevails, and that is something not to be taken for granted. That's really unique. So Geoparks as a concept relies on a very long-standing experience, and some of the initial forces behind it are still driving it forward, and I think we've been very lucky that we didn't have to start in 2015 from scratch. It's been built on a very solid experience since then. But we have to know as well that since then it moves in a different context. The concept remained the same, the context is different. As I said, there's 191 member states that look at us, then we are to a certain extent under scrutiny. And this is something that we welcome. This is something that we have to dare to take into consideration. And at UNESCO, we have the firm will to continue improving the process and to expand the network and to uphold the high standards that we owe to ourselves. And we do this with two important principles in mind, and that's the one of transparency and it's the one of consistency. So in the short time that I have been in my assignment, I feel that we share that same ideal, that we do share that same vision. And I'm sure that we can improve processes where possible without making them overly administrative, but in order to gain the trust of all member states and to rally a worldwide support for UNESCO Global Geoparks. Maybe a last point that I wanted to make, and I believe it is important and it will set somewhat the tone of our strategy in the future, is the importance of a better geographic distribution. I've said it before. We've been successful in Latin America over the last couple of years, and that's basically because of the sustained effort that we've done there in promoting the program. We have now 7 UNESCO Global Geoparks in Latin America, several more in the pipeline. And I wish to reiterate my thanks here as well to Spain for having provided a very much appreciated expertise in this process and for their willingness to sustain this effort. And for providing the expertise as well through the many geoparks that you have here, because let me remind indeed, as it's been said before, you have the largest number of geoparks in Europe. There's 13 of them, of which 3 in Andalusia, and this is an important source of information and expertise for us. I'm also glad to announce that we will organize a workshop in Colombia, also with support of Spanish experts, in order to train the region and to help them in that endeavor. Now, maybe the most problematic is probably the blind spot in Africa, and this is something that we are going to tackle in the next coming months. And we really want to learn from the experience that we've accumulated in Latin America, how this could function in Africa as well, knowing very well that the context is different. But I think there is plenty of potential, and it would be very nice if in the coming years we would be able to increase our family there as well. So, the work is not done yet, but I believe that there is a strong willingness to join our efforts together and to successfully further develop the UNESCO Global Geoparks. And UNESCO will be very glad to contribute to that. With its long-standing expertise and relying on one of the largest networks amongst the global geoparks community, this European Geoparks Conference is a good opportunity, I believe, to reflect on the technical aspects on geoparks, but also to start thinking and considering how we can ensure the future sustainability of the geopark concept in light of this fast expanding network. I hope that this conference offers the venue through which we can reinforce our standards through peer-to-peer interaction, exchanging of good practices, and learning from each other. Let me conclude by thanking the organizers once again and the European Geoparks Network for organizing this conference, and I wish you all a very productive and interesting and a constructive day. Plenty of nice discussions. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, Christoph. Your English is better than mine.
Your Spanish is really better now.
So, yeah. Now, to close the institutional event, we receive Carmen Crespo Díaz. She is la consejera de Agricultura, Ganadería, Pesca y Desarrollo Sostenible de la Junta de Andalucía. Carmen Crespo Díaz is the Minister of Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries and Sustainable, difficult English word again, Development of the Regional Government of Andalucía, Junta de Andalucía.
Muy buenos días. Don Christoph Vandenberge, responsable de la División de Ecología y Ciencia de la Tierra de UNESCO, y don Charalampos Fasula, coordinador de la Red Europea de Geoparques, don Nicolás Zouros, presidente de la Red Global de Geoparques, don Masi Sirén, miembro de la Comisión Nacional Alemana de la UNESCO, y don Asier Hilario, presidente del Foro Español de Geoparques. En primer lugar, me gustaría decirles que estamos encantados desde la Consejería y representando a la Junta de Andalucía de estar en este magnífico lugar, que es la Fundación Tres Culturas del Mediterráneo, ni más ni menos, y estando además en un sitio magnífico acompañada de nuestro equipo, de la viceconsejera, del secretario general de Fondos Europeos, del director general del Medio Natural, que que además nos ha ayudado a hacer todo lo que yo les voy a decir en el día de hoy y que es responsable del medio natural en Andalucía, con los directores de Sierra Norte, de la Subbética y de Cabo de Gata. También a nuestras delegadas territoriales en la zona de Sevilla, como es Isabel Solí o Arantxa Martín de Almería, con el director gerente de la Agencia de Medio Ambiente y Agua de Andalucía, don Javier Marcial de Torremandri, que le agradecemos que estén hoy con nosotros a todos ellos y que nos hayan ayudado a hacer esta magnífica conferencia. Siento no hablarles en inglés porque lo entiendo, pero no me atrevo a ponerme a decir el discurso en inglés. De todas formas, lo que sí me comprometo con todos ustedes es que o bien le hablo en inglés en la siguiente conferencia europea o la viceconsejera que no haga de traductora, que para eso es traductora en la siguiente conferencia de Geoparques, si a ustedes les parece. Pero, en primer lugar, yo quiero decirles que estamos concienciados desde el Gobierno andaluz y estamos comprometidos con los parques en Andalucía. Y para mí es un inmenso honor que hoy está representando al Gobierno de Andalucía, ni más ni menos, en una conferencia europea de geoparques, que para nosotros es fundamental tenerla en Sevilla, y es una oportunidad fundamental para en este foro hacer visible la posición, que no puede ser otra, sino una posición de vanguardia, en donde Andalucía muestra una vez más que en materia de conservación pues siempre estamos a la vanguardia en nuestras áreas protegidas. Lo hacemos en un año especial para nosotros, tanto que en el año 2019, este año, celebramos el 50 aniversario de la creación de nuestro Parque Nacional de Doñana, el 30 aniversario de la creación del Inventario de Espacios Naturales Protegidos de Andalucía y el 20 aniversario del Parque Nacional de Sierra Nevada. Por tanto, imagínense ustedes qué responsabilidad la mía, ¿verdad? A todo lo que habéis contribuido desde la organización y especialmente también con nuestro equipo. Hoy hace 4 años que los líderes mundiales adoptaron un conjunto de objetivos globales para erradicar la pobreza y proteger el planeta como parte de la nueva Agenda de Desarrollo Sostenible. Hoy hace 4 años. No hablamos de un nuevo concepto porque Europa ya lleva 40 años estableciendo normas ambientales que figuran entre las más estrictas del mundo. La Unión Europea se ha erigido como una gran defensora y lo ha hecho en el Acuerdo de París contra el Cambio Climático y el Libro Blanco sobre el futuro de Europa, que impulsa el avance del continente hacia unos objetivos, los objetivos de desarrollo sostenible que hoy nadie cuestiona, si todo el mundo impulsamos desde las instituciones y también, como estamos viendo en estos días, desde la sociedad. La protección del patrimonio natural hace frente a muchas cosas, pero fundamentalmente hace frente a la despoblación rural, a la pobreza, a la lucha contra el cambio climático, que son cuestiones que deben de ser prioritarias, sin duda, temas de Estado para todas las administraciones, incorporándolas de manera eficaz y efectiva a todas las políticas de forma integral. Avanzar en ese camino es el compromiso que el Gobierno de Andalucía hoy adquiere con ustedes y adquirió desde el inicio de su Gobierno con todos los ciudadanos de Andalucía. Entre las herramientas con las que contamos para conseguirlo tenemos las áreas protegidas en las que se encuentran los geoparques, espacios que ofrecen servicios ambientales clave para la sociedad y que también nos sirve como laboratorio de ensayo de los objetivos del desarrollo sostenible, porque es un laboratorio de ensayo natural, social, sostenible y medioambiental. Le decía que antes que Andalucía se encuentra a la vanguardia en conservación de espacios naturales, pero todo esto es fruto, no es solo fruto, y quiero decirlo así, de una geografía excepcional, sino de un compromiso de una sociedad. También es causa-efecto del compromiso de la sociedad y también de la sociedad que nos rodea, no solo de los andaluces. En Andalucía ha hecho proclive toda la sociedad española que estemos cada vez mejor. Por tanto, no es solamente de la sociedad andaluza, sino de la sociedad española en su conjunto, que ven como suyo los parques de Andalucía. Tanto es así que, como bien saben ustedes, más del 30% de la superficie de Andalucía se encuentra protegida, conformando el patrimonio natural más importante de toda Europa y superando en extensión la superficie total de algunos países de la Unión Europea. Para el Gobierno andaluz supone una enorme responsabilidad la gestión de este territorio protegido, pero también un gran compromiso ante la comunidad internacional, con la que nos comprometemos y nos vamos a seguir comprometiendo para que tengan informes exhaustivos de cómo lo estamos haciendo con los parques de Andalucía. Por este motivo, queremos seguir apostando y poniendo en valor nuestro patrimonio geológico de nuestra tierra, con el objetivo de alcanzar el equilibrio entre la conservación y la mejora de calidad de la gente. La gente tiene que ver al medio natural pues, como una oportunidad, no como un problema. Y en eso también estamos trabajando, para ese equilibrio que se ve conjuntamente al parque de la sociedad. Me gustaría transmitirles la idea de que la figura de los geoparques tiene una gran relevancia para el Gobierno andaluz y por ese motivo asumimos el compromiso de mejorar y avanzar en el impulso de nuestros 3 geoparques globales designados por la UNESCO, como son Cabo de Gata, Níjar, por la cercanía ustedes comprenderán que para mí es muy cercano, Sierra Subbética y Sierra Norte de Sevilla. La existencia de estas 3 joyas de Andalucía son en cierta medida responsables de lo que hoy estamos aquí en esta 15 Conferencia Europea de Geoparques, como marcos de encuentro, como cooperación, intercambio de conocimiento. Somos conscientes de que el cambio climático es un problema global cuya solución constituye un gran reto que se debe afrontar a escala mundial. La cumbre de la ONU que se celebra en Nueva York estos días así lo pone de manifiesto. Y tenemos que estar todos muy pendientes de lo que allí se habla y luego en nuestro pedacito intentar poner en marcha pues, las tendencias que en estos días se están dando en Nueva York. A nivel autonómico, este Gobierno ha asumido el desarrollo de la Ley de Cambio Climático desde el primer día, una ley aprobada por unanimidad de las formaciones políticas del Parlamento. Esto es muy importante. Vivimos en una tierra cada vez más seca. El incremento de la sequía es uno de los impactos obligatorios a los que tenemos que hacerle frente y considerar su análisis. Por tanto, imagínense ustedes lo importante que es para el Gobierno andaluz tener en cuenta esta ley y desarrollarla. Fruto de este trabajo hemos puesto en marcha la Comisión Interdepartamental del Cambio Climático y el Plan Andaluz de Acción por el Clima. Somos pequeñitos frente a la globalidad de la ley de las cuestiones de cambio climático, pero tenemos que aportar, incluyendo 3 programas: mitigación de emisiones, adaptación y comunicación y participación, que son las 3 patas de esta ley tan importante. Además, ya es una realidad la Oficina Andaluza para el Cambio Climático. Y seguimos desarrollando dentro de la ley instrumentos regulados como el Sistema Andaluz de Emisiones Registradas, que es complicado, como ustedes imaginarán, pero es necesario, o el Sistema Andaluz de Compensación de Emisiones, o los derechos de huella de carbono o huella hídrica. Paralelamente, la Junta aborda con los profesionales expertos de nuestras universidades que deben de estar en el centro, porque son los científicos los que ahora mismo saben y están investigando iniciativas pioneras, que pedimos ayuda a Europa y ya la hemos pedido a través del proyecto Indalo para el cambio de la biodiversidad. Hemos puesto en marcha un plan de choque de reactivación ambiental destinada a desatascar inversiones que alcanzan ni más ni menos que 2.800 millones en energías renovables. Es decir, apostamos por energías limpias, apostamos por proyectos europeos como el Indalo, que investigue en cómo el cambio climático está influyendo en el cambio de la biodiversidad. Espero que los resultados y las conclusiones que ustedes traigan en esta reunión nos ayuden a comprometernos aún más con un futuro social y ambientalmente más sostenible y más justo. Este es un compromiso con la sociedad. Por nuestra parte, no tengan ustedes la menor duda que el Gobierno de la Junta apuesta firmemente por la conservación del medio natural y, cómo no, por el apoyo a nuestros geoparques. Disfruten de este encuentro. Apórtennos conclusiones de interés que nosotros podamos aplicar a nuestras políticas y, por supuesto, disfruten de la estancia en nuestra tierra, ni más ni menos que en Sevilla, siempre hospitalaria, altamente implicada con el medio ambiente y con su patrimonio natural. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, consejera, por poner en valor el patrimonio natural de nuestra tierra, de Andalucía. Thank you very much to the Minister. She has to leave the Congress because she has, everyone knows, she has a very busy agenda. So we will have the technical act by receiving at the table the expert who will be responsible for giving the master class specialized in the geoparks matter. But before, please attention, and we will watch a video about the Andalusian geoparks. Thank you. Do you like the video? Yeah. Okay, so thank you. Muchas gracias a los tres miembros de esta mesa de bienvenida. Y ahora es el tiempo de empezar ya a debatir, a discutir y a seguir aprendiendo. So, I don't know if there are all the three members of the next table the expertise. I need to be here with me, Nicolas, Maxi, and Asier. Buenas. Hello, welcome. So I say welcome to the next step of this opening ceremony. We welcome to Nicolas Thouros, Global Geopark Network President. The keynote is titled The Global Geopark Network, Challenges and Future Perspective. Also, we welcome to Maxi Sirem, a member of German UNESCO Commission. His keynote is entitled Implementation of the 2030 Agenda, UNESCO Global Geopark as Regional Moderators. And Asier Hilario, also welcome. He is a member and coordinator of the Spanish Geopark Forum. His keynote is titled Geopark Earth Memory. Your time. Thank you.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor and pleasure to be here with all of you, celebrating Earth Heritage and helping for the sustainable development of our local communities. This is the logo of the UNESCO Global Geoparks, of the Global Geoparks Network, and I'm trying to present you the challenges and future perspectives after the creation and establishment of the geoparks in collaboration with UNESCO, and some thoughts about our future steps in this global initiative that started, as was already mentioned, in 2000. And I have to say that I'm very pleased that we are in Spain, because Spain, and especially also Andalusia, has a very, very important role on that. This year we celebrate the 15th anniversary of the Global Geoparks Network, which was founded in 2004 at UNESCO headquarters, and it's a pleasure that in this room we have Wolfgang Heder, who is the previous director of Earth Sciences of UNESCO, who was the man who took the initiative for bringing together at UNESCO different experts from all over the world in order to found this network. And I want to say that Andalusia, and especially Cabo de Gata Níjar, UNESCO Global Geopark, is very much involved in this procedure from the very, very first steps, because it's the land where the first agreement between UNESCO and the just established European Geoparks Network was signed in 2001. We go this really interesting adventure together with UNESCO, the members of the Global Geoparks community, and we have many more things to do together. So this is the first conference in 2004. And this marks the first period of this network, the establishment. During this conference, with stakeholders coming from all over the globe, we managed to make the first steps of the Global Geoparks Network. The next period, the period of the recognition of this initiative, is marked by another event, the General Conference of UNESCO in November 2015. And now, all together, we're in a new stage, the stage of the production, the stage of the results, the stage of the establishment of geoparks as really innovative territories of the 21st century. The territories that working not only for the for the protection and rational management of the geological heritage, but for promoting heritage and territorial identity. And through this territorial identity, that they can have concrete results in sustainable development, working for the people, working for our communities. Nowadays, we have 147 geoparks, and we have to think that we started with 4 geoparks in 2000 in Europe, among them one again from Spain, Maestrago Geopark from Aragon, and nowadays we are represented in 41 countries. It's a great adventure with a lot of positive steps and much more responsibilities for the near future. It's very beautiful to see the global map adding new territories. We used to say in the first conference held here of the European Geoparks in Spain, in Molinos, that we would like a network that will include sites from the Atlantic to the Urals. And it's amazing that in 2020, we will make this dream that was just a dream, a reality. A reality with the inclusion of more geoparks that will cover the whole European continent. So geoparks are areas including geological heritage sites and landscapes of international importance, as well as ecological and cultural sites of interest. And through protection, management, and promotion, we really have new important tools for implementing sustainable development. As Christophe said before in the greeting from UNESCO, we are working for our communities, and this is also the UNESCO mandate. So, geoparks, through the variety of things that they are offered to us, from the stunning sceneries, the outstanding landscapes, here Cerro del Hierro from Sierra Norte UNESCO Global Geopark, they can say a lot of stories about the development of the Earth and include these geopark landmarks in Earth history, from the very first geoparks up to the last adjoining this network. We also include fantastic sites of scientific value. In geoparks, for example, here from Troodos UNESCO Global Geopark in Cyprus, we can have pictures that it's impossible to see in reality on the Earth's surface otherwise. We have to go deep in the middle of the oceans and observe the splitting apart continents. And some beautiful examples are in our geoparks. That's why we can call our geoparks as learning places. And of course, geoparks are teaching us about the Earth's history and life evolution, and also about the resources and the use of resources, because mining history and the mining sites are also very extremely important for make us think how much of this heritage we can use and in which way. But geoparks also include significant geosites that describe active geodynamic processes, active volcanoes, like, for example, the volcano from Iceland, the Eyjafjallajökull, that stopped the circulation of the plains in Europe in 2010, and make us think that we cannot do everything alone. There are some limits. And we have to respect the planet, and we have to respect the limits that the Earth processes as putting in front of us. And of course, geoparks are hosting unique ecosystems, because we have always to have in mind that the development of ecosystems are connected with the abiotic processes, with the kinds of soils that we have, and all types of ecosystems are hosted in our geoparks. And we have endemic species, and of course we have cultural landscapes, because human interaction with the earth was from the very first beginning, and we have unique and splendid examples in our geoparks about how cultural sites are located within geoparks. Why? Because geology always inspired people and inspired human communities. But also, we can speak about the preservation of cultural monuments and the preservation of culture, and geological conditions play a vital role to the conservation of these monuments. Just an example of the Great Wall of China, which shows that the part that is conserved is just due to the geological conditions. And the new challenges for our world, of course, the Sustainable Development Goals, but you are going to hear a little bit after about that. We are working on this, putting in practice. And the challenges that we have is the implementation of the geopark tasks in geoconservation, in nature conservation, in geoeducation and geotourism, and the promotion of the activities and the achievements of the geoparks and the benefits for the local communities, especially in rural areas in Europe and in the world, for the society at large. This is our task for the future. Is not we don't need now the recognition. We have the recognition of the international community. So we have in our task to show the results of our work. And of course, one of the tasks that we have to do is geoconservation. We have to show that geoparks are not just a certificate in the wall, but is an active continuous work in all levels for geoconservation of our precious geological heritage. So we have geosite protection measures, on-site museums, conservation of fossils and vulnerable geosites, capacity building activities, and on-site activities for geopark staff, raising awareness to authorities and stakeholders on geodiversity and geosite interpretation through various new technologies. This practice we share among us and we should promote. Here, example from Terra Vita, UNESCO Global Geopark in Germany for the protection of vulnerable sites, or even more sophisticated bioclimatic cover for the protection of the Peking Man World Heritage Site within the Fangshan UNESCO Global Geopark. These achievements could not have been realized without the recognition and the activities of the geopark. And we have to remember, I'm sorry for the slide, that the first on-site museum in the world is in Haute-Provence Geopark, where the Ichthyosaurus site was protected inside. We didn't dig to move the fossils outside in the big museums, but we keep it in our land, and through this heritage we try to help sustainable development. And several other examples of on-site museum from Zhejiang, for example, Global Geopark in China, and today our thinking and our heart is with the people of Zhejiang in the difficult moment that they are passing. And the geological heritage enhancement is a very important achievement of the geoparks. Here we can see Fossa Magma Park in Itoigawa, UNESCO Global Geopark in Japan, the site where the two continents meet, American and Asian continent. This was enhanced by the geopark and now is a beautiful park, and many people are going there to learn about the movement of continents. But geoconservation in action is also important. We need to conserve and preserve our geological heritage for the generations to come. And we have different activities, and we have to see that even safeguarding fossils from sites of wind farm construction, the promotion of alternative energy and together the safeguarding of geological heritage is possible. But also, biodiversity enhancement is a tool for our activities in geoparks. We have to raise awareness, we have to protect biotopes, we have to map the habitat use and know well where to do what, how to protect the species in the area which is open for geotourism activities. We can restore wetlands, we can reforestate. And we have some amazing examples from our geopark. For example, for biodiversity protection and restoration, we have the fabulous example from Adamello Brenta UNESCO Global Geopark in Italy with the reintroduction of the bears in the Alps region, which was extinct, or the reintroduction of oriental white stork in Sanin-Kaigan UNESCO Global Geopark in Japan after the introduction of the biological cultivation of a rice field. The white stork came back. And also the mapping of habitat use permit us to take the right decision on how we will manage in the proper way our geological heritage with the endangered species. And of course, we have the climate change and the natural hazards. And the Target 1.5 says us that we have to build resilience for the poor and for those in vulnerable situations and reduce their exposure and vulnerability to climate-related extreme events and disasters. And this is exactly what geoparks are doing. And we have, as learning territories, to reinforce the contribution of geoparks in geohazard risk reduction, in climate change adaptation, and wise use of our natural resources. Again, beautiful examples from geoparks because we are learning territories that share our experience. This is an example from Munzen volcanic area in UNESCO Global Geopark in Japan, where past disasters can be a key of understanding natural processes and disasters and make our communities work more safe. Or another example with the use of the seismic table for understanding earthquakes. This is an example from Lesbos UNESCO Global Geopark, and we can see that by implementing these educational programs for earthquakes, we managed to save students' life at the strong earthquake of Lesbos in June of 2017, while the students were inside this building that collapsed, managed to go out safely. So this is why geoparks are contributing to that and should promote their concrete results to the society, because it's the only way to safeguard our future and establish our geoparks and help our communities to live in the better way. And of course, environmental education in geoparks is a key pillar. And we have several examples from Turkey to Vulcan Eiffel in Germany, or the youth camp in geoparks preparing the new generation, like an excellent example from Moscow Arch UNESCO Global Geopark in Germany and Poland, where 8 young groups of students came together to share, proud of their own heritage, but to share the European values, to improve understanding, to improve collaboration, is exactly what we need in our European continents. Or even geoparks are joining students coming from the other side of the globe, like the Toyoka school from Japan visiting Europe and doing educational programs, or university field courses in geoparks, extremely important, joining the scientific communities with what we are doing. Universities are visiting geoparks to see and explore and do research and educate people. And of course, vocational training. Because we're working for the young unemployed people in our geoparks, we give them resources in order to work with the work of the geoparks. And here are example, or another again from Germany, the exchange of unemployed people who are trained in geoconservation in Messelpit and Bergstrasse Odenwald Geopark. And this is what geoparks are doing. And of course, geotourism is the tool to reinforce the economic activities in rural areas of Europe. Geoparks create visitors' experience that allow them to share what we value most in our territory in such a way as to preserve and protect the region for the generations to come. Geotourism definition is made in Aruca conference in 2011, and we follow this definition to create different activities from guided walks to trekking, horse riding, cycling, geo-rafting, running, and boat cruise. Several examples here from Apuan Alps in Italy, engaging the local population. Here an example from Araripe Geopark in Brazil. And it's really very nice that in this European conference we have several colleagues from Latin America, from Brazil, from Uruguay, from Chile, from Mexico, and of course geopark rangers from Europe, involving local residents in explaining our treasures, our heritage, and going towards a heritage-driven development. And of course, a variety of outdoor activities in geopark, from Karavanken in the border of Austria and Slovenia to Massif des Bauges in France, or to Forest 4 in United Kingdom, or outdoor activities here, the Lesbos Relay, a race passing from all the geosites of the geopark for 320 kilometers, or the Geopark Challenge in Rocqua Geopark in Finland, several activities in geopark that will attract people that are not maybe interested in geodiversity, but they will come, learn, and admire the beautiful landscape doing activities. And of course, the sea. Around Europe, we have coasts, a variety of activities in geoparks, geo-cruises everywhere, but even geo-snorkeling. Yes, we have to promote alternative tourism as a way to promote our treasures. And of course, we need to meet the tourist market. We are present in ITB, we are present in FITUR in Madrid, we are present in the International Exhibition in Hong Kong, and we promote geoparks as the sustainable territories of the 21st century. And of course, sustainable development increases visitors, create new infrastructure, and improve accessibility. This is our duty. Making new employment opportunities, especially for young people. Establish new touristic activities that were never before geoparks in our territories, in our rural territories. Promote local accommodation and gastronomy, enhancement of local products, creation of women creatives, improve the living condition of the residents. These are the results of the geopark for 20 years, and this is what we have to do in the years to come in order to establish as the most brilliant network of European and global cooperation, understanding, and building peace among communities, and valuing what we really have most, our identity. Because our community's identity is reflected in our monuments and our rocks, in our land that we appreciate more. And these are some examples. This young couple find a new job through the geopark, geo-restaurants, geo-cooking in Azores Geopark, in a volcano, women cooperatives, local food, a lot of common activities for the promotion of all these things. And of course, capacity building. From Mexico in 2015, we promote the spreading of these ideas all around, and so many geoparks came in Latin America. But we have further duties. This is the workshop in Iran to spread the ideas in Central Asia, where we don't have geoparks. This is the international training course in Beijing, and this is the international intensive course on geoparks in Lesbos. The next course will be on sustainability. These capacity building activities are the tools that we use in order to share all this experience all around. We need to promote further. We need visibility further, and this is what we have to do. And for this, we use the international days, and we use good examples like this one 2 weeks ago in Beijing, where we have all stakeholders, governmental, provisional, local, and the geoparks present in order to promote what we value most: geological heritage protection and management, sustainable development of our communities and our people. Thank you very much. It's not a long day.
Yes, I don't see it. No, no.
I think there's one. In between.
Okay. Thank you much.
Then there's a folder EGN Sevilla there. And then you can choose if you want the PDF, maybe that's more secure, or the PowerPoint.
Try PowerPoint.
Yeah,
Send to.
for this.
Okay.
And can you make it bigger?
Maxi, you are right. Okay.
Great. So, good morning also from my side. I hope you can all hear me. Sorry for the inconveniences. Somehow my presentation must have slipped through, but now we are ready to go. Last Friday, millions of people all over the world took to the streets with a clear message to world leaders. Act now to save our planet and our future. The day began with record-breaking numbers in Australia, and as soon as the crowds gathered all across Europe, it became clear that this would be a climate mobilization like no other before. In Germany alone, where I just came from, more than 1 million people were counted to march the streets. The Fridays for Future movement, as you all know, was initiated and driven by those who would be affected most if we fail. Young people, teenagers, school children. They called on world leaders to step up their efforts against climate change. And just 2 days ago, exactly these world leaders met at the Climate Action Summit in New York to work on this ambitious task. And these movements, these events, demonstrate that from top down and also from bottom up, there's finally the will to address the global challenges that we are facing. And we already heard a lot about these global challenges, being the planetary boundary and the large numbers of people still living in unworthy conditions. To overcome these challenges, we need sustainable lifestyles and economies. And what do we mean by that? There exist many different definitions and understandings for sustainability. We might not know yet how a sustainable economy will actually look like. But what we do agree on is that our today's economy and our today's society are not sustainable yet. Sustainable development is about practical and political change. It is about transforming our society, and it is not only about the environment. Sustainable development is also not something that can be achieved and then it's done. It is a permanent process of learning, of searching and exploring. And it is also not a utopian vision of all peace and joy. Sustainable development means accepting conflicts. And in that sense, sustainable development needs transparent discussion of conflicts of interest, led mostly by participation, by education, and by a broad bottom-up debate. And to put this in one sentence, you could say that development is sustainable when people around the world can live in dignity and develop their needs and their talents, respecting planetary boundaries today and also in the future. And we already have a quite good theoretical framework for this, and we saw this slide, and I think everybody of you knows these images because they tend to pop up at geopark events, at least at all of those that I went to. With the 2030 agenda, the world community in 2015 agreed on a very concrete idea for a peaceful and a just and a sustainable world. The 2030 agenda defined these 17 goals for a society in which ecological, economic, and social interests are balanced. And of course, the SDGs are very ambitious, but the challenges of today's world are also too great and too complex to be tackled half-heartedly. But what is so special about the 2030 agenda? The great strength of the SDGs is their comprehensiveness. They really link together all the key issues in our world, from cities to consumption, to employment, to biodiversity, to climate, to poverty, to gender justice. And in doing so, they are deeply interconnected and they include many cross-cutting elements as well. By being so complex and so comprehensive, they also show us something very important, that there are no easy solutions. There is no easy way out. What we need is hard work and cooperation. All countries in the world, include not only developing states, are equally addressed by this global to-do list. And the 2030 agenda defines very concrete means for implementation and also for monitoring. This is also a very special thing about them. Due to the broad range of these topics, the 2030 agenda does not only require top-down regulation from national governments, but also requires regions, district, and municipality action. And it needs places on Earth where concrete integrated measures to meet the SDGs can really be tested, can be negotiated, can be communicated, and then also evaluated. It needs model regions for sustainable development. And this brings us to the protagonist of today's meeting, the UNESCO Global Geoparks, of course. Geoparks, as you all know, exist for some 20 years now, and especially for those of you who have been there right from the start, this might seem like a very long time. However, geoparks are still not a household name. I can imagine that many of you are quite desperate to make the concept of geoparks known, and I have made this experience myself, that it can be quite a challenging task to explain to someone who has never heard of this concept before, very briefly, of what it is about. But I think we are on a good track. Also, for example, 20 years after the World Heritage Convention was adopted, the concept of World Heritage was not known to many people. It took some 30, 40 years to become this visible, like it is today. And that geoparks do not have this very clear image in people's heads, in my opinion, can also be an opportunity. What you hear in this room, and also in the room below and on top, decide and define geoparks to be today, will shape how they are seen, will shape their image in 10 or 20 years. So you can shape whether in 2040 people will think of geoparks as Jurassic parks, geological parks, or as pioneers for the future of our planet. And my recommendation would be, let us try to shape this image a little bit. Let us create an image in people's heads of geoparks as model regions for sustainable development based on their geological heritage. You could do so by starting with the overarching goal of geoparks. What are they about? And this message is rather quite simple, because it is something that everyone can understand and something that everyone can share. It's working towards a decent life for all. And then in the next step, we would explain how the geoparks actually want to achieve this. And this would be by combining their geological heritage with sustainable regional development, with education, with sustainable tourism. And today I want to highlight one particular strength of UNESCO Global Geoparks, and that is their bottom-up character. Because they are established through this bottom-up process involving all relevant stakeholders, regional and local ones, geoparks can really empower local communities. And they can really motivate people on the ground. I'm sure that you all have made this experience. One outcome of this is also that geoparks generally have very good connections to key players in their region. For example, to representatives of local governments or also representatives of forestry, agriculture, local industry. Their extensive partner networks enable geoparks to take on a role as regional moderators, mediating between these different interest groups. And I want to explain a little bit what I mean with this moderating role by using an example from Germany. As some of you maybe know, Germany decided to phase out nuclear power and instead expand renewable energies in the context of a broad energy transformation, the so-called Energiewende. This ambitious goal requires discussion and action, and especially the provision of land for additional onshore wind energy plants is a quite challenging task and is intensively discussed in Germany, especially because of our dense population and because of a very diverse environment of different nature protection statuses, and also because of a lot of other public concerns. So what we have here is a classical conflict of interest that needs moderation and balancing. But why should the geoparks now get involved in this process, which is so full of conflicts? First of all, as I said, unfortunately, we live in a world where there are no easy solutions anymore. It will always involve conflicts and it will always need compromises. And then again, it is part of the geoparks mandate. If we stick to this example, energy supply and climate change mitigation belongs to the geopark's main objectives, being sustainable regional development. And in Germany, because of their size, the geoparks are relevant for this energy transformation. But at the same time, of course, it is necessary that their main geosites of international significance are protected from any considerable impairments. And so to achieve this balance is also in the interest of the geoparks, and it is also in the interest of the 2030 agenda and the climate protection goals of the EU and the United Nations. To do this, geoparks are ideally positioned because they have these close connections to key players in their region, as I said. And it may even help the geoparks to sharpen their profile by introducing new topics, maybe also marginal topics that tend to be forgotten in the debate on the 2030 agenda, and using targeted public relations to become also more visible. To shortly give a bit more concrete example, from one of our geoparks. This is a European project called ZENAPA, which stands for Zero Emission Nature Protected Areas. And the name actually already expresses the main goal of this project. It is about achieving CO2 neutrality of large-scale protected areas. So again, we have this two main goals of climate action and nature protection on the other hand. The project covers 12 large-scale protected areas, including national parks, biosphere reserves, nature parks, and the UNESCO Global Geopark Vulkaneifel. And for every of these partner regions, a climate protection master plan is being developed, which integrates energy efficiency, renewable energies and nature conservation, and is being implemented over a period of 8 years. And I put this quote here from the project website, and that expresses what this project is trying to do. It tries to prove that these different objectives do not contradict, but can be achieved in a cooperative manner. And this is exactly what meets the spirit of the SDGs and their comprehensive, their cross-sectoral and their holistic approach. To sum up, we can understand that the 2030 agenda is a task of discussion, it is a task of moderation, and the geoparks can play a very specific role here, and they can also use it as a chance to highlight their specific topics. Of course, this is a very ambitious goal, and it comes with high expectations, and we all agree that geoparks alone will not be able to save the world. But at the same time, as I said before, the complex challenges of today require creative answers. They also require some courage, I would say, and they especially require balanced moderation. And to conclude, just to show you how this is deeply linked to UNESCO's values also. You see here the guiding principle of UNESCO from 1945. Since wars arise in the minds of people, peace must also be anchored in the minds of people. Today, for us, this also means that climate protection can only work if we change our minds and our behavior. New technologies, new markets, new laws will not be enough. We have to change our life, and it is not the climate that should change, but actually our way of thinking. And on my last slide, you find another quote from another UNESCO declaration from 1982. And first of all, I have to admit that this might have been times that were not so gender sensitive, but I think today we can maybe all overlook this fact. I read it out for you. It is through culture that man expresses himself, becomes aware of himself, recognizes his incompleteness, questions his own achievements, seeks untiringly for new meanings, and creates works through which he transcends his limitations. I think this is exactly what is meant by sustainable development. And together, I think we are really able to transcend our limitations, to overcome them, and to achieve the impossible. And you, as representatives of geoparks in Europe, have the chance to take on a leading role in this process. And for me, this is personally something that makes me proud to work with you and makes me also proud to sit here today. Thank you. Oh, I forgot something. Just as a reminder, because it fits so perfectly to my presentation, maybe some of you saw this outside. Around this corner, the SDG working group has put up an incredible nice SDG booth where you can write postcards, put them on an SDG tree, and become a little active, just as a little practice for today.
Here you have uploaded? Don't worry, I will find it. Is this one or this? Go to your seat, I will work for you. As always. Yes, it's there. As always.
Well, good morning, everybody. Dear college, dear authorities. It is for me a great pleasure to be here, but first of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this conference, especially Alberto, especially Pedro here, that gave me the opportunity to be here, to represent all the Spanish geoparks in this table, and to share with you some, it's going to be like that, personal ideas and experiences related to the main theme of the Congress, which is memory of the Earth, future of the people. I'm a geologist, so I'll be focusing mainly in the first part, the memory of the Earth. I'm coming from that beautiful geopark from the Basque Coast, about 1,000 kilometers away from here. That's a very small geopark. I'm not used to this kind of big audiences. So please forgive my errors and keep my good intention of sharing good time with you and a good experiences with you. I want to start with a beautiful poem written by one of the best songwriters ever, Bob Dylan, which it says, the times they are changing. You probably all know this poem. It's a fantastic poem, especially the last paragraph. It looks that Dylan knew about something geoparks when he wrote this. Look what it says. We will come back to Dylan later, to this beautiful poem. I would say the times they are changing. Yes, as always, it is natural, it happens. That's evolution. But I have the impression, I have the feeling that the times are changing faster than ever, and that we are losing very important things in the way. That's what I will try to show here. We live in a very beautiful world. I mean, I'm sure you all of that agree with that idea. After so many millions of years of geological evolution, after millions of years of biological evolution, after thousands of years of cultural evolution, we have beautiful landscapes like this in Lanzarote UNESCO Global Geopark, where everything is harmonic, everything comes together, that's fine. The habitability of that place is perfect. We have plenty of places like this in our geoparks all around the globe. But at the same time, we live in a very strange world. It is beautiful, but it's a very strange world. More than half of the population, world population, lives in big cities. And it will rise up to 70% for the year 2050. That is crazy. We never had such a big concentration of people. We have cities of 5, 10, 15 million people living together. And at the same time, we have more and more people feeling empty, feeling lonely, feeling lost in this labyrinth of cement that we have built in the cities. We have the solution. We have a global solution. It's called a shopping center. We have shopping centers everywhere. Where is this? Where is this picture? It doesn't matter. It could be in Sevilla, it could be London, it could be Marrakesh, it could be Lima, it could be Peking. It really doesn't matter. So we all want to go to the same places, buy the same things, wear the same clothes, listen to the same music. That's globalization. And we are all involved in that. We are all part of the same thing. And then we have this. Yeah? I will not call that a smartphone. We have this, just this machine. In the last decade, this machine has absolutely changed the way we look to our planet. We see almost everything through this machine. We are more connected than ever. We have more friends than ever. I never had more than 1,000 friends. I have now. But at the same time, we are losing human touch. We are using human contact. I guess we all agree about that. We have more information than ever. Whatever happens on the Earth, it's just 2 or 3 seconds, it goes to the other part of the world. Information is huge, it's fast, it's too fast. It's here, it's in our pockets. But at the same time, I guess you all agree, we feel lost. We don't really know what is real and what is not real. We don't really know what to pay attention or what not to pay attention. And then this machine gave us the possibility to be in the center, to do selfies. This is what a selfie is about. It's just to put your face in the center of the picture. I will say nothing else about that. Yeah, to put your face in the center of the picture and share it. Send it as quickly as possible to all your friends. Yeah? That's the era of photobombing, I would say. Yeah? Let's go back to Dylan. Times they are changing, it is true. But I really think they are changing too fast. And I really think that we are losing very important things, like, for example, those. We are losing focus. We are losing our identity. We are losing our authenticity. We are losing many things in the way. I really think it is like that. But that's not the problem. That would have been just our problem. The problem is that our way of life, the way we are growing, look at this paragraph. It's world population, richness, technology. Look what happened in the last century. There is no way. We cannot keep on growing like this. It's simple. We cannot do it. We have only one planet. We don't have a planet B. We have only one planet, and we have with limited resources. And that's why the problem is that all this, it's affecting strongly to our planet. We all know that, and that's why this concept of the Anthropocene came out. I don't really mind if the Anthropocene will be accepted or not as a geological time in the geological time scale. I think it will not, but that's my opinion. But it makes sense. I mean, the Anthropocene is defined by the time where humans has affected strongly to the Earth system. And I think nobody disagrees with this idea. The big changes that we are creating on Earth are strong enough, are important enough to be considered at a geological time scale. I mean, the climate has changed. We are living in the 6th big mass extinction. It looks that our partners on Earth, most of the animals, most of the biota, most of the flora is not happy with us. They are disappearing. They are going away. The land, the use that we are doing of the land, it's changing the surface of the Earth. I would say, if I would have to just summarize all this first part of this talk, thoughts, personal ideas, it's we have lost connection to the Earth. That's, for me, the main idea. We are losing connection to the Earth. And that picture summarizes very well what I mean with that. And because of that, I really think that geoparks can help connecting people again to the Earth. This is a picture I took this summer in Canada, in Cliffs of Fundy Geopark. It's a beautiful lighthouse. I mean, I don't know if you see it there, but it's a fantastic, beautiful lighthouse. I really think that geoparks, working locally, that's what we do. We try to build our best lighthouse, our best geopark. We work locally, but we think globally. Look how many people we are here for how many countries. Working locally, thinking globally, we have, at least today, 140 good reasons, good places to think that a better world is possible. 147 places to connect again with the Earth. That's the main message. Why do I think this? It's because, okay, I like geoparks. Yeah, it is clear. Why do I think this? I think this because we have something unique. We have something unique, which is the memory of the Earth written in the rocks and the landscapes of our geoparks. No good strategy, no good conflict can be solved if you don't take into account the memory, in this case, the memory of the Earth. We geoparks, we have the responsibility to share the memory of the Earth, and that's a big responsibility. But I know what I'm talking about. I'm coming from that place, in which one of the most beautiful, best books on Earth history that have been ever written. It's in our cliffs. That's my place. We can read page by page, layer by layer, 60 million years of Earth history. Every step you make, you go forward 10,000 years. Our history, our, let's say, recent history, covers only 2 layers. So it's very graphic. It's a fantastic place to show what I'm talking about, the memory of the Earth. That's the only thing that makes us different. This is a picture, I told you, this is going to be a talk about personal experiences mainly. That's a picture I took this summer in Northwest Highlands, in Northwest Highlands Geopark. I was sitting in that bench for about an hour, looking at a fantastic place, in a very remote place of Europe. Geoparks are places where time goes by slowly. And this is something that we have lost in our daily life. We have lost in our daily life. And most of the geoparks do offer the opportunity to enjoy this, enjoy just the time passing by. Just how long you didn't do that? For me, it was like 2 or 3 years. It's one of the best experiences that I had this summer. But the treasure was not in that landscape. It was. The real treasure for me was behind my feet. That picture there is an outcrop not bigger than this. Those are the oldest rocks in Europe. They are 3 billion years old. They have been here almost since the beginning. I have never felt deep time so close. I mean, I wish we were able to explain what deep time means. Deep time is an enormous concept that we have the responsibility to share with our society. I would say geoparks are also about philosophy. Understanding that the landscape change, understanding that geographies change, that nothing is forever, then everything is just a matter of time. Understanding that the landscape that you have in front of you, like that one in Subbetica's Geopark, that's a beautiful mountain made by marine fossils. Landscape change, geographies change. Nothing is forever, it's just a matter of time. Understanding that the landscape you have in front of you is just a picture of a much, much larger movie in where everything is changing, everything is evolving, it's a fantastic philosophical work that you can do. Look at this place. This is in Molina Alto Tajo Geopark. This is a very beautiful canyon made by red sandstones and conglomerates that once built the biggest, probably the biggest mountain chain that was ever built on Earth history, probably. It disappeared. Even mountain chains, even huge mountains disappear. Mount Everest will disappear one day. We will not be here, but it will disappear one day. Geoparks are also places to understand where we come from, where humans come from. That picture was taken 2 years ago in English, 4 years ago, sorry, or 3 years ago in English Riviera. That's the best storytelling that I have ever had in a guided visit. It was a fantastic experience. I don't know where Nick is, but it was a fantastic experience. Geoparks are a fantastic place for climate change, to understand what climate change is, to understand which is the real context of the evolution of the climate. Look at this place in Adamello Brenta. We have huge glaciers. There is no better place to understand what climate change means. So it's not that difficult to understand that all those valleys were shaped by a huge glacier, that it was like about 500 or 600 meters thick and some kilometers large. But at the same time, we can see them shrinking, disappearing. We have geoparks where we can see this, like for example in Sobrarbe Global Geopark, where we can see glaciers disappearing. Or we can go to the north. This is Bextilden Aspiring Global Geopark in Denmark, and we have these flat landscapes in the northern geoparks. Do you think most of the people in Europe knows that only 20,000 years ago, the northern Europe was covered by a huge ice sheet of some kilometers thickness? Most of the people do not know now. If we want to talk about climate change, we have the chance to give a climate change a context. And that's very, very, very important in my opinion. Look, this is again my geopark. The Earth is 4,600 million years old. So it means that almost whatever is going to happen in the future probably has already passed. And it's written in the rocks. So the history repeats itself. It's very clear. Here, this place, these rocks are 56 million years old. 56 million years ago, the planet went through one of the most important warming events. It's called the Paleocenozoic thermal maximum. It was also because of a greenhouse effect, and we were not here. The climate went up between 5 and 10 degrees, between 5 and 10 degrees. So it is showing us that, I mean, the scientific calculation says that if we keep on emitting as we are doing now, for the year 2100, we will have emitted the same amount of greenhouse gases that it was naturally emitted 56 years ago. The history is written in the rocks. The results of that are written in the rocks. So it's just a matter of going there and understanding how it works. So it means that if we play with the climatic system, it can change as much as 5 or 10 degrees. It happened before. Are we going to survive in this planet with more than 10 billion people and more than 5 degrees of increase of temperature? Geoparks are also a fantastic place to understand how life has been evolving. We are just let's say, an evolution of many other forms of life that happened during many million years. Here, for example, in Villuercas Geopark, we can see some of the oldest fossils in Europe. Or here in my geopark, we have, and this story of life, it's full of good stories. That's what we do in geoparks. We tell good stories about climate, about life, about the history of the Earth. This is, for example, in my geopark again. We have, thanks to a research that we have done, and we have one of the biggest collection of giant ammonites that has been ever described. And you know what? Now we know why they are giant. All of them are female. And they are related to hydrothermal emissions at the bottom of the sea 110 million years ago, related to the opening of the Bay of Biscay. So the geological history, geodiversity controls absolutely the evolution of life and biodiversity. And then we have places like this. We know that the history of life is full of big catastrophes. This is also in my geopark. We have a small beach with in a place where we have a very thin black layer in which 90% of all the fossils that we are seeing there disappear 66 million years ago. Dinosaurs and more than 70% of life on Earth disappeared at that time. That's the 5th big mass extinction, and we can see it very well in this place. We can touch it. And then we live in a dynamic planet. They already told about this. And with that, we can understand how the system works. And we can show preventing some geological or natural disasters. I would say geoparks are mainly territories to explore, to dive in this immensity, in this hugeness of the memory of the Earth. I usually say also that the geoparks can be like small pieces of a huge puzzle all around the globe, in which through them we can tell all the history of the Earth. But there are many other things. I will go faster now. There are many other reasons why we can think that geoparks are a good tool for the future. They have talked about that. They know much more than me about this. We use this geological heritage for the people. Geoparks are territories of science. Geoparks are territories of conservation. Geoparks are territories of education. Therefore, geoparks are territories with future. Geoparks are territories with people. Geoparks are territories for the people, where people participate in activities. Geoparks are territories for intense courses, for training, where people learn things, where people get surprised with beautiful stories. This is very important. Geoparks are territories to be proud of. I am proud of my geopark. I am proud of being UNESCO. I am proud of being part of this network. And that's very important. That's also a very important part of local development. Local development, it's not only money. It's also the proudness of the people belonging to those territories. Ni euskalduna naiz. Nik euskaraz hitz egiten dut. Euskara da Europan dagoen hizkuntza zaharrenetarikoa, gure geoparkean euskaraz hitz egiten dugu. Geoparks also have very good cultural treasures. In my geopark, we speak Basque. We have one of the oldest languages in Europe, and that's also part of the heritage of my geopark and of the heritage of this network. We work with geotourism. Nicolas said many things about geotourism, so I will not stop here. But at the end of the day, we are talking about connection to the earth, geoconservation, local people, local benefits, local products. We said some years ago in Spain that geoparks are the most innovative destination of sustainable tourism. Well, I don't know if we are or not. Nobody will tell me if we are or not. We cannot measure that. But I do believe that. So I can say it. You can say it also if you believe it. I really believe we are sustainable, or we try to, and I do really believe we are innovative. And we are alive. That's the last one. We are alive. We are a big family. We exchange. We discuss. We share. We learn. We improve. And that's a good proof of that. I will finish with this. It happened to me in March. I was working in my geopark again. I was working doing a field work, and I found that beautiful stone on the left. And I like it, so I took a picture, and I posted it on Facebook. And with some lines about the relation between geology and feelings, and blah, blah, blah. And the day after, Vesa Kroki from Finland, from Roka Geopark, sent me that picture there. Geoparks are also about passion. If we don't believe on this, we have nothing. Geoparks are also about passion. So, I would like just to wonder yourself the reason why you came here. If you came here to do tourism, Sevilla is a perfect city. You have plenty of opportunities. If you believe of some of the things that we've been talking here about, stay here, come on board, be innovative, work hard, participate in the meeting, and try to build the best lighthouse you have for a better future. Thank you.
Eskerrik asko, Asier. Cheristo, Nicolás. Danke. Maxi. And thanks very much for your attention. Now it's time to make a break for a coffee on the rooftop of the building. After the coffee break, the thematical season begins in the different space of the building. You have 3 days of hard work ahead. I hope enjoyed and learned during this Congress. But after work, don't forget to enjoy Sevilla's and the tapas. Here go some tips. When you go to a bar, remember, ham is jamón, omelette is tortilla de patatas, and olive is aceitunas. Thanks so much and enjoy.
Okay. Well done, you too. How are you doing? You fine?
Yeah, I'm good.
Now we can relax.
Yeah, now we can. Do you
The
have
more-
another presentation or this one?
Oh, John. Is he okay?
What? I didn't see
He's
what
from,
happened.
he's from Canada. Yeah, I have another presentation, but it's just a small one. I mean, a normal presentation,
Okay.
which I didn't pay any attention at all.
Yeah.
Up to now.
Compared to this, I mean,